What's up? Tell you the tale of an old Chicago legend. If you knew him, you know him. You might have heard of the story, or you might be from other parts of the world who've never heard it before. This is the story of a man they call Tricky Lane. Now, this is live too. So, for those who don't know, if you just got in the chat room or something, we're doing this live. Yeah, heard? So, anyway. Anyhow, Tricky Lane. Tricky Lane was one of the most, let me see, when he was about 5 or 6, his uncles and mom them raised him because his daddy was going back and forth to jail. His daddy got out one time and tried to rob another man and break into his house and robbed this other man. And the other man ended up shooting him or whatever. And he just waited for the police to come. He leaned up against a tree smoking a cigarette like, I'm going to jail, so it don't even matter. So that was his life. That was his life. So Tricky Lane grew up with that environment. Dad locked up and all kind of stuff. So him and his dad never kind of got along. So by the age of 6, his mom moved in with the uncle, her brother. And, Tricky Lane was being raised. So when he moved in the neighborhood, he was about 6 years old. One thing about Tricky Lane is he gravitated easily to the game. Like pimps, the hustlers, all of them were like all around him, and they just like adopted him. So as he grew up, by the time he was 11 and 12 years old, he was making runs, making money, doing all whatever he could, anything, hustling, shooting dice. I mean, this dude was out here filing dice at 12 and 13 years old. So one day in grammar school, Tricky Lane decided he was going to get the girls to kiss the boys. And all it was going to cost you was 50 cents. He was able to convince these girls to kiss boys for free. He kept all the profit, 100%. But he was so slick with his mind, he was to control them to make it look like he was doing them the favor. Like, I'm going to make you kiss the guys right before they go into the bathroom. So the bathrooms were split, male, female, when you walk right in. So when you first walk into the first section, you're not like walking in the girls and boys, but the teachers wouldn't see. So the guy would find a girl they want to kiss, and then the girl would be right there. He'd be like, all right, where your 50 cent? Take the 50 cent. All right, kiss. So the girl is happy. The guy's happy. He got 50 cent out of the deal. 50 cents. Unbelievable. Now, well, the situations has always favored someone or something else. But with Tricky Lane, I'm looking at y'all comments over there. It's cracking me up. But with Tricky Lane has always changed the narrative. As he got older, 15, high school, the things advanced. The dice games, the money, the kid was excellent. Then he played cards with all the big sharks, playing poker. Nobody was playing poker. He was playing poker, bid whisk, 15, 16-year-old. Then they started running spades championships. Then, he's selling drone on the side. Tricky Lane was that guy. He was the first official plug that anybody really knew in the city. He could find anything. He will find the person. He knew them. He's been in every neighborhood known to man. Tricky Lane was that guy. He was the guy. So, and one day on Indiana Avenue, he walked from Indiana Avenue when his car broke down. And it wasn't his fault, but his car broke down. And he walked from Indiana from, 88th or 87 in Indiana, whatever it was, and walked all the way to Halsted. That's a long walk, ladies and gentlemen. He walked all the way up to Halsted, went over to Ashland. Then when Ashland turned into Beverly, he went right over there to the house where they had the card party. And because he came late, he just missed. One dude lost, went crazy, and decided to start a fight in there and ended up stabbing somebody in there. So they broke up the party. So good thing Tricky Lane came late and found out what happened, and found out one of the dudes who did it was somebody he knew, and he was there basically for Tricky Lane. He was gonna pull this act with Tricky, but just so happened he wasn't there yet. So that created a little side beef that ended up brewing up later. Tricky Lane, like I told you, the original plug. Anything you needed, whatever. Dude want to play him in a card game. Now, same guy we just talked about who did that incident and everything else was on the move, on the run. Years passed. Tricky finna graduate from high school. He's in a Boss outfit. Got Boss everywhere. Boss blue jean jacket. Boss. You guys probably don't even know what that means, but he got Boss suit on. Tricky got finger waves all up in his hair. He graduates from high school. Soon as he graduates, other people will go with their family, have a graduation party. Him and his uncle go out. His uncle gets him a fifth of liquor. Then they go and head out, and they go to a card party. So they hit up the card party. And at the card party, at the graduation, it's all these people at the congratulating him on graduating and all this stuff. And guess who's also there? Downtown Jimmy. Downtown Jimmy's there. He's an older guy, more legendary. Shows up, congratulates Tricky Lane, leaves with Bobby. What was it? Bobby somebody. But it's low end Bobby. But anyway, they leave with Bobby now. So they at the card game, right? And one of the biggest card players in the world shows up. And they want to play bid whisk tournament. And you would think it was the Texas Hold'em. They played bid whisk for hours. And this dude was like big time with the card game. He's from the West Side. And man, they went at it. They went at it, playing cards all night long. And they was battled to like a standstill. And Tricky Lane was like one of the best card players that you probably have seen. I mean, he could be a dealer at a casino the way he could. He the one was showing me how to flip the cards, do it like that. I'm like, Tricky Lane could go with them cards. So because they had that standstill that they did, he's like, man, I'm gonna come out west and I'm gonna play cards with you out west. You came out south for this thing. I'm gonna go out west. He was like, cool. He goes out west, and the dude, when he go out west, just so happened one of the dudes there, one of the guys who stabbed such and such and such and such. He there. And the first thing that dude said is, hey, I ain't got no problems with you, Tricky. You know what I'm saying? I don't even come out there no more and this and that. I ain't know you was gonna be here. He was like, look, man, I heard you was looking for me. He was, nah, man, that's talk. That's street talking, man. I got who I came to get. This dude tried to cheat me. So they were like, oh, it was copacetic, long as no problems finna jump off here. The guy from the west side and him, they were all cool. Tricky was there, everything was good. They playing cards, it's going down. Tricky's winning, like right out the gate, knocking everything out. Tricky hit boom, boom, boom. Then they changed the game to tongue. They started playing tongue. He beating him on tongue. And the same dude who stabbed somebody over at the other party got upset again at Tricky after he just told him when he walked in, I ain't got no problem. I wasn't there for you, was all that. His eyes go get red because Tricky decide when you play Tunk, you have the ability to run at any time. Run means lay your cards down, and if you got the lowest cards, you win. If the other person got a higher cards, adding up all the totals, then they lose. And you just get your cards in your hand, and if you got 5, Tricky, just lay it down. I'm running. Like, beat it. And if you can't beat it, you lose. If you catch them, they pay double. They get caught and they go out there and run and you catch them, it's double you have to pay if you run it. Or you could just play the game out and win in sets. And that's a certain price. So when he ran, he kept running, and it was just costing. He wasn't even getting the cards good in his hand, and he was just running, like beat it. And it was ticking the guy off because he would lose about like 1 point, 2 points. Tricky would have like a 14, and then he got like 17 in his hand, and he got, dude, I can't even get the card in my hands, man. Do you want to play cards or not? He's like, I'm winning. And it was one time that just threw the whole thing off. Tricky got the cards. He spreaded them out, and he looked at him, and he looked at dude like, I'm running. Just like that. And man, I swear to God, dude just blew up. He's like, man, you can't keep doing this, man. If you ain't gonna play cards, we're gonna just switch to another game because you ain't playing cards. So that was, I mean, he blew up, man. He just had a fit. So the next time they played another hand, and he got the cards, and I think Tricky was gonna play. And then dude was like, yeah, go ahead and run now. I got your A. Go ahead and run now. I bet he won't run now. Go ahead. Tricky looked at his hand, looked at dude like, I'm running. And the guy just, man, he was trying to bluff. He had like 37 in his hand. He was nowhere near catching He was nowhere near capture Tricky. Then that's when he got mad. And he started getting over, he slapped over the thing. Dude, hey man, out of my crib. He was like, man. He's like, look, Tricky backed up, grabbed his money. That's game. He was, no, man, no. Dude's a donut. No, dog, that's game. Cause he's like, your boy, he out of control. I can't deal with him when he in that state. I don't even want to play with him while he in this state. It's only gonna get worse. He ain't got no self-control. And I can't be here and he leave, he come back and do something crazy. It's game. We'll just play another day. So Tricky got everybody money basically. And dude was like, all right, man, we just play another day. So dude was like, man, why we letting this dude go, man? We can get him right here. And he was like, man, look, Tricky know he got family there. Tricky got people here, people there. You know, you can't just mess with Tricky like that. Tricky Lane is known all over the place. So they want to jump him, but they like, this dude is kind of by himself. He's like, because he ain't worried about what's going to happen to him. Because if something happened to Tricky Lane, we know there's going to be consequences. He generates a lot of money for a lot of people. So if we touch this guy, something's going to happen. Do you understand? We don't know where it's going to come from or who is it going to be. Do you want that? And the dude was like, man, let him go then, man. And it's like, let him go. He already gone. He already in his car and going to the crib. So Tricky already went to the crib. This creates a big buzz. Like Tricky went to the west side and took down the west side. So the streets get the story and made it all up. The dude tried to stab him and Tricky took the knife from him and punked him and all that. So dude feels like a sap when he come back to his hood. They was, man, you got punked by Tricky. So now he like, I'm gonna kill Tricky. You know, it's just, this is how the neighborhood works. So the next time he see Tricky, it's on. I don't care who protected him. So he saw Tricky at they had the block party or whatever for one of the girls that Tricky used to date. He show up there and want to start something with Tricky, right? Tricky was like, you want to start something with me here? Dude was like, come on, quit being a punk. Be a man. Fight me head up. One-on-one. He was like, fight you. Fight you for what? We got money on the line? You don't owe me no money. I don't owe you no money. What I get out of fighting you? Matter of fact, you want to fight? He was like, Dino. Dino. They used to name him because he used to love Dino from the Flintstones. He was a kid. Dino. Dino was like about running back, high school, 17, 18 years old, man. He came over there. He was Dino, yeah. Still want to fight me. He was like, word? I was like, yeah, he want to fight me. He said he want to fight. He's like, I'll tell you what. Give you $500 you can beat Dino. Go ahead, Dino, fight. Now y'all got something on the line. You get $500, you beat Dino. Go ahead. He was like, man, I ain't finna fight, dude. Like, Dino, you want $500? Yeah. Knock him out and you get $500. Man, Dino went in there like, dude was like, dude didn't know he was gonna get it. He thought he was finna be fighting Tricky. Like, I'm not finna fight you. You finna fight Dino. Dino was in there. He grabbed him. He tried to negotiate. All right, wait. Hold on. Don't slam me on the ground too hard. All right, you got it. So all this talk, he won't no parts. So, and once again, he get back to his neighborhood. Nowadays, like, dude, Tricky just using you, making you look like a punk. So Tricky's like, I know where his girl at. So he go over there, like, where Tricky at? You got Tricky over here, right? Smacked her, did all kind of disrespectful things. Of course, this did not sit well with Tricky. Now, Tricky Lane knows everybody on his block. All the movers and shakers. Tricky said, well, this dude's a little hustler too, because he don't get no money. I know how to get him. They was like, yeah, what Tricky gonna do? Tricky said, I'm gonna dry him up. Oh, you had the little hustle here? I'm gonna dry that spot up. You getting your money over here? I'm gonna dry that up. And they gonna all have you to thank in your own neighborhood. I'm gonna make all your buddies' businesses where they've earned money, they gonna dry up one by one. Anybody you was associated with, I'm gonna dry up their money. And when I dry up their money, they gonna look at you. And sure enough, that's what he did. Oh, y'all had the little card games party in the spot over there? No more. Oh, you had this going over here? Y'all was getting money over there with the draw? Nope, here's free draw. Don't go over there this week. Oh, you need something over here? Nah, you ain't getting that either. So everybody he's associated with is drying up, messing with Tricky Lane. It's Tricky Lane, I got that phrase for him. I ain't got to kill you to kill you. And that was his style. Finding the weakness of a man and breaking him. Never reacting. So Tricky, after doing this guy got desperate and decided we finna roll over and do a drive-by. So he's all ready to do the drive-by, but the people that's on his block, they ain't rocking with him. He's like, he a goofy. He the one caused all this mess, and now Tricky them messing up our money. But he looking good, though. He eating. See, what Tricky did was allow him to eat. He hurt the other people's businesses, but he allowed that guy to eat. He allowed that guy to flourish and still do what he's doing. So that his boys could see that he's eating while they money drying up. They ain't going to be your boys no more. Once they see their money drying up and you living large and you seem to be all right. So that creates a discord that you're going to see implode. So all the nonsense this guy did, he goes over there trying to start hate in Tricky's neighborhood, trying to get some people to turn against Tricky. And his own boys set him up to where he don't come back no more one day, going with them. Said, oh, we got in a fight at the club, and they must have followed him home. Because he was found in his car, touched up, and he never got a chance to do nothing to Tricky. And he was gone. He was no longer with us. See, you got to understand, when people move, they move in different ways. Some people are very, very intelligent. Those are the most dangerous people, those who can keep their cool. Others, yeah, it's just others. They're reactionary. They can't control it. Soon as something happens, they got to react right away. They don't know how to come up with some plan that make it even worse for the opposition of the other person. So, Tricky Lane's rolling. He's got all this money now. He got the brand new. They had the new cell phones out, the brick phones. He's doing numbers like people couldn't believe. Back then, your phone would last you 24 hours off one charge. Seriously. Those brick phones, incredible. So he gets a page. It's a code he got to call in. So he dials it up on the phone. He's listening on the phone, and sure enough, he calls the phone up, and the number ring, and it's, yo, we got to talk. Come on in, and we got to talk because there's a big card game coming down. We're going to be downtown. We plan to get with the big boys. So it's $5,000 to get in. So you got to bring a bag. Tricky goes in, gets his money, comes to the game. Tricky got like 20 grand on him. He going down there, it's downtown in a suite, downtown Chicago. At the table of this game, they have John Sally from the Chicago Bulls. You have Ron Harper, who's playing for the Chicago Bulls. You had another NFL player. Guy's name was, forgot his damn name, but some Chicago Bear player. Another guy who played basketball for the Denver Nuggets. He was there. And it was big players there all the way around that table. So playing cards right away. John Sally was one of the first people out. John Sally came in, he played, he got out. Tricky Lane's there, and it's a lot of players that came in. One player came in, and Tricky was doing good, getting his money. Ron Harper stayed for a little bit, and he was like, I got to go. So he played. He didn't really lose that much, but he lost. It didn't really win, but he played. He was just there to kick it, drink, have a good time, but he was good. He left. The NBA player from Denver was like really good. Like he played, so he was still like in the game. So the game was going on for hours. Next thing you know, somebody else comes in and said they want to play. They was like, y'all open and let a new guy in. He was like, he got the money. Tricky was like, I'm finna lock all this down because I'm up 30, 40K. I'll let him in. So a special guy comes, sits down to play against Tricky Lane. Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Michael Jordan comes in. He got a stogie. He comes in, he sits down, got a yak. He got another guy with him that didn't play. He's just another big guy, sat down. And he said, whoa. And he called him Dave. Dave, sit down. Dave takes a seat, come over there, and they got on leather coats. Mike take his coat down, sit down. And then there's a Super Bowl ring on Dave's hand. And it's like, whoa, who is Dave? Dave got a Super Bowl ring on. 85 champ. That's Dave Dorison. Rest in peace, Dave Dorison. It was Dave Dorison from the Chicago Bulls. Michael Jordan sits down at the table. He's playing with the guy from the Denver Nuggets on his team. They sitting there, him and Mike was talking and this and that. The guy who brought Tricky Red is there. They got yak on the table, all kind of drinks and stuff. And Tricky Lane is there. And they playing poker. Poker's the game. And Mike got chips, whatever you need, but Mike got the marker. He's up 30, 40 grand, Tricky Lane. They playing all night. Mike come in. Everybody else is getting busted. Dave Durson just sitting back. He came in with Mike. He's sitting back and he's watching them play. And he's sitting there going, Tricky Lane is sitting there like, I'm sitting here playing with Michael Jordan. And the guy who's always in control at the table, he's flustered because it's Michael Jordan. So now they playing, and Mike is busting him up. Pow, Jordan winning. MJ sliding the chips over. Sliding them over. And they took a break. And he was like, man, Mike, you one of my idols and all that. You know, you like the king over here. He was like, man, you can say that it. Don't think you can tell you can kiss my A all you want. You ain't leaving here with them chips. And that did it. That is all Tricky Lane needed to hear. He heard Michael Jordan talk to him like a Negro. And he said, that's not how I thought Michael Jordan was going to talk to me. I thought Michael Jordan would have like, oh, don't worry, kid. I'll sign you an autograph. It's great to meet you. You know, let's continue the game. Tricky was like, if that would have happened, I probably would have lost every chip if he'd have did that. I was mesmerized. We sat back down. I said, I'm finna gut this fool. He's a mark. I'm like, I'm 23 on this court. So Tricky Lane was red. He started running it up and gutting everybody. He got everybody off there. He just bought the pot one time. He was like, man, I'm buying the pot. I'm controlling the game. Tricky Lane in a rap verse? I don't know. Maybe somebody mentioned him. But Tricky Lane got Michael Jordan there, man. He is running Mike. Mike was getting hit. Poof, 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 poof. He got 50 bands off of Michael Jordan gambling. 50 bands. Well, not 50 bands, 5 bands rather. So it's 50,000. Mike gets another marker. And he was like, you sure you want to keep going? You don't have to explain to the wife how the money missing. He was, you talking to me? He's like, just deal the cards. They was dealing the cards, shuffle them up. Mike ain't worried. Mike's sitting there, relaxed. And the game is going down. Mike was losing by 1. Mike getting bust up. So it's down to him and Mike. He up big. Mike was like, man, I think I should quit. Call it a night. It's getting late. Mike took a stretch. I'm going to go to the bathroom. Mike came back like, I'm going to play to this play for about another hour, then we get up out of here. He was like, all right, cool, because he thinking I didn't came all the way up. Mike was like, man, let's just raise the bet. He's like, raise the bet. And he's like, yeah, that way, you know, we play an hour. Other than that, we'll be here all night. So Tricky, like, whatever you want to raise it to, Mike. He's like, cool. Minimum is 10,000. Minimum is 10. Mike come back, got about 100K, like, let's go. Michael Jordan is playing with big money at this table. Mike come in and said, here we go. Everybody hits the lane, watching him again. People getting coffee and they drinking yak and looking at each other and going toe to toe. They went toe to toe, battle for battle. And finally, right at the end of it, right when it's gotten juicy, right when it's at the good point, Mike is going tit for tat. Mike getting some of the chips back on his side. They going up, and he's like, whoa, man, Mike is more focused. He's more energized. Mike winning on the river. So whatever they doing, they playing 5 cards or poker, whatever. Mike is winning chips. Then finally, the hand comes. He was like, Mike had won some. But this is the hand I've been waiting on. The hand that rocks the cradle. He said, I got him. I got him. I'm waiting. I'm like, I'm sitting there. I got him already. Now it's, can I get him to put all his chips up? I got him. I'm looking at my hand. I said, I got him. So he's sitting there and they dealing the cards up. And Mike, it's one card down and then it's like 4 cards up. I don't know. That's how they playing the poker. So there it is. 1 card down, 4 cards up. So you get to see from the 4 cards what everybody got. He know right away, I got this. And Mike can see my fold. I see Mike fold. Mike only got one way out. Mike looking at what I got. No, I got 30. So I'm going all in. He goes all in. Basically, he raises it to see what Mike gonna do. But he ain't go all in yet. Let me just take that back. He goes in to see what Mike's gonna do. Raises it. Next thing you know, after he raised, Mike raises it. So, okay, this guy's an idiot. So anyway, Mike raises it and says, I'm going all in. Mike goes all in, which shocks him because he's like, wait a minute. They ain't out through dealing the cards yet. Mike is already all in, which is going to force him to go all in, which will take all of it. It's going to take every chip he got to stay all in with Michael Jordan. Then he going to be short 5. And they was like, you're going to be short like 5K. He was like, I got it. He's like, we grant your marker. Because he was like, this is stupid. Mike finna lose all. I'm finna get all these chips. He got what he wanted. He got Mike to go all in. So they deal the cards, pop, pop. And he was like, okay. Mike gotta have a jack. If he don't have a jack of hearts, that's the only out he got. So he gonna have to turn over a jack of hearts. And ain't no way he would go all in with all that. So I got him. All he gotta do is turn over the jack of hearts. Mike goes under the thing, turns over his card, bam, jack of hearts. Mike had the jack of hearts. Michael Jordan won and beat Tricky Lane. And Tricky Lane owed him $5,000 when it was all over. Michael Jordan took every chip he had. And what shocked Tricky Lane was the fact Michael Jordan went all in on a hunch. He had nothing. He got dealt a straight. And he bet that before it even happened. He had to have a jack high straight. And Tricky was like, who would bet that kind of money on just a guess and a hope? He had about a 3% chance. I'm like, that's Michael Jordan. He went all in. Went all in on Tricky Lane and beat him. So yeah, he knew just how competitive Michael was. He knew Michael was just crazy. That was the craziest bet anybody could ever make. And Michael made it. Jordan took down Tricky Lane. So that's it for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. That is the story of the great Tricky Lane. What's Tricky doing now? Tricky is still hustling, doing what he's doing. He had a barbecue shop that was out in South Holland. He owned a restaurant. Well, he's still doing bets. I don't know if he's doing it now, but he was taking bets, working with bookies. And now that they've opened up, the sports book over there, I don't know if he's still doing that. But Tricky Lane, man, old school, still doing his thing. Did they ever play again? No, he never played Mike again. Because when that happened, that was in the 90s when they had that game. And Mike ended up moving pretty much after that game. Like he wasn't in Chicago too much long after that. Who's performing at the at the cat workout tomorrow? Everything's about the cat workout tomorrow. Everybody's like eyes glued. But I'm gonna let everybody get some rest. Just had to hit y'all with the story right quick. So now y'all know. I'm out.